Tell your neighbor, actions speak louder than words. Let me make it plain and practical. I'm going to take my seat. If I take the time to show and tell my wife, if I take the time, somebody say show and tell, that she's the finest thing in the world to me. Yeah, if I take the time to just talk to my woman and I tell her that, you know what, if I were an artist like Michelangelo, she would be my Da Vinci Mona Lisa. If I just begin to tell her in public how much she is the bomb, she's my Kool-Aid on a hot summer's day. If I just tell her that she's all this to me and she's my inspiration to be great. If I just tell her that this woman right here is my motivation to be the man of God that God has called me to be, Bishop. If I just tell her that, then can I tell you something inside of her begins to stir? But you gotta understand something. It's because I'm not saying it in public without having proven it in private. See, if I didn't love her right in private, when I say that in public, she wouldn't be moved at all. But because I love her right in private, when I say it in a corporate setting, something in her begins to stir. And she makes her mind up, somebody say now, to give me the special treatment later. Woo. What am I trying to tell you? If you begin to understand how to love God in public, in other words, you cannot love God in public if you have no relationship with him in private. But if you begin to celebrate God in a corporate setting like church, and you begin to say, God, I'm getting ready to love on you. In other words, God, I'm going to love you because I'm proving it. Because actions speak louder than words. So I dropped the liquor bottle. So you stop cussing. So you stop spreading lies and your legs. Come on, talk to me. Because you've made your mind up to live holiness as a lifestyle. And then you come into the church and you make your mind up and say, you know what, God, I'm giving you the praise that my neighbor doesn't want to give. Because you are willing to give God the praise in public as an expression and overflow of what you really have in private, something in God begins to stir. And God begins to look at you and say, how can I give you the special treatment? On the day you make your mind up to glorify God with your praise, something in God stirs. And he says, if you got the courage to give me a public praise, I got the nerve to give you a public blessing. In other words, God's getting ready to do something for those of you. Just say whoever, whosoever. Look at your neighbor, say, why not me? Somebody got to be blessed in a big way. Look at your neighbor, say, why not me? Where is your faith? Your faith will make you whole. If I can just get you to wrap your mind around the reality. Now, if you ain't been living right, you might want to sit down right now. Because God ain't going to be moved by your shout. But for the individuals who turned their plate down to flesh, for the individuals who've been taking the persecution and still serving God, for the individuals who felt like quitting but said, I love him too much to give up now. Can I tell you, if you make your mind up to give God the kind of shout that gets his attention, this man cried out twice because the first time the enemy tried to shut him down. Can I tell you, all the hell you've been through was the enemy's attempt to shut your mouth. But because you've got the courage to still lift up a praise, look at your neighbor and say, I'm about to get the special treatment. I'm about to get the breakthrough I've been praying for. Now, all the real cute folk, you need to sit down because this is personal right now. I ain't got nothing I can give you. This is between you and Jesus. But if I have somebody who's willing to let their actions speak louder than their words. In other words, you done live right in private. When they called you and said, come on, let's go to the club, you said, that ain't who I am no more. When they called you and said, what about sleeping together again? You know we did it last month. You said, baby, even though we did that, I've been redeemed and changed. When they say, come on, let's get high, you done got high with me before. You like, yeah, that was me, but I once was blind, but now I see, and my faith has made me whole. You didn't need to stand in a line for a miracle for you to start walking away from some sin. You was able to just change your mind about your sin. Ain't that how I go, Bishop? Changing your mind, and the rest will follow. And you've now got to a place on tonight, because you didn't have to come out at a 6 o'clock service. That shows some sacrifice. That means you're already near God's heart right now, because a sacrifice is dear to his heart. All you need to do now is put the icing on the cake. See, praise is not the substance. Praise is the overflow. Your worship has to be for real before you can give God praise. I wish I had a whole church that was ready to lift the roof. Y'all remember the clubs, don't you? Back when I was in the music world and I was on the mic as a DJ, I would just say the roof, the roof. Can we get, oh, don't cuss in your mind, y'all, stay with me. If I can get you to just make your mind up to allow the Shekinah glory